Hey guys, it's Chris from Smithy Fitness. Welcome back, good to see you again. So I'm gonna try something a little different today. I'm gonna do a suitcase carry with 28 kilos and film a video. So I've never done this before. If you've tried suitcase carries, in other words, just carrying something heavy with one arm and the other one not carrying, it's actually very difficult. In fact, I think it's more difficult than carrying two of the same weight with both hands. You know, your core has to really work hard to keep you upright. And I don't know, it's way more difficult. Anyway, here we are. Let's talk about optimism, pessimism, and realism. And as you might know, if you've watched me for a little while, I'm a firm optimist. I really believe in seeing things in a positive light. And you know what? I made that decision, and it is a decision. I made that decision years ago, probably as a teenager, that I wanted to be someone in the room, in the group, that was uplifting and positive, and that you would enjoy being around, rather than be a little bit of a doomer, you know, in my years in the 70s, you know, the stoner guys that might have had, I don't know, a negative view on the world, or at least a pessimistic outlook. It's not the thing that's important, it's your interpretation of the thing. And I've had as many bad things happen in my life as anybody, whether it's, you know, business, as you might know, I'm in the stock market. I've lived through many crashes, the 87 crash, the 2000 tech wreck, 9/11, 2008-9. I mean, I've seen it all. And every time I bounce back stronger than ever. I have a real belief that good things happen to me. You know, I'm the lucky guy. That's my belief. And it served me, and it is the way of interpreting results. So I'm going to say being an optimist will bring you fortune in life. It'll bring you friends. It'll bring you girlfriends if you're a guy watching this and you're sort of looking, because it's just a positive force. And people like to be around positivity. I know I do. And that was another reason that I went optimist, is that I wanted to attract other optimists. And optimists tend to hang together. They talk about the great times ahead, the adventures that they've had and that they're having. And isn't this funny, this crappy thing that happened to me, but I'm turning it around and making it work? You know, that's the definition of an optimist. And really, that's the group to align with. Those people have opportunities, they'll offer you opportunities, and you'll grow and be excellent together. So I'm going to try something a little different today, guys. Normally I would do 4 or 5 sets of 25 or 30 or maybe 35 push-ups. Today I'm going to do one set and go to exhaustion. I'm just going to max out, get whatever I can get. I've been listening to Mike Mentzer lately. Now, you might know Mike Mentzer's name if you've been around this planet as long as me and in the fitness world at least a little bit. He was a great bodybuilder, right up there with Arnold back in those days. And his belief was that you did one big set to failure, and then you go on to the next thing. He wasn't a believer in 5x5, you know, 3x5, 3 sets of 5 across at a 90% weight or 95% weight. He believed in just warming up and then one huge set and then on to the next thing. He also believed in a lot of rest between workouts, you know, as in days, 3 days, 4 days in between, to give yourself a chance to really recover. Anyway, I'm going to do one set. I don't know. I haven't done max push-ups in ages. Maybe 50, maybe 55. Anyway, let's try it out. I'm going to speed it up at least until the end of the set, because nothing more boring than watching a guy do a bunch of push-ups. So let's see if I can align. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's 40. I'm starting to hurt. 50. 55. 58. 60. 1. 2. Okay, so let's talk about pessimism. While I pick up the bell. Here we go. So, look, I know there's lots to be pessimistic about in this world. There's wars, and there's terrorism, then there's terrible government, loss of freedoms, unhealthy society, maybe a pharma culture, I don't know, with all these drugs and vaccines being the answer for any problem. Our food culture, brutal. So many people aren't eating real foods. Look, I know there's crappy things going on in the world, but I pay very little attention because I can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about Gaza. I can't do anything about Ukraine. So I don't give it any attention. I just spend the time in my world trying to be the best I can be and inspire people around me. So I keep my fitness very high. I keep my habits very strong. And I try to be, again, a beacon of hope as opposed to, crying hard over world injustices. Honestly, I can't do anything about it. So it's the furthest thing from my mind. I don't watch TV. Any time I spend on screens tends to be on YouTube. I will watch some sports. Still like watching the Leafs and football season. But even that's less than it used to be when they started letting politics into their wokeness into the telecast. That's no fun. It's a little better now, I have to say. It really is. So, look, there is crappy stuff, even in your life, You have a garden, there's weeds in your garden. You got to get out there and pick them. You don't just kind of lay down and say, oh, there's weeds and they're growing so fast. There's no point in having a garden, right? You go and pick the damn weeds. And it's the same with our lives. When there's something crappy, you go fix it, or you have to accept it and get on with your life, staying positive. So I have no time for pessimists. People complain and I just nod my head and try to get out of that. Sorry, I'm shaking here. Try to get out of that conversation as quickly as possible. Okay, guys, I'm going to do one big set of pull-ups. That's 8. 10. 12. 13. Not bad. So there's my bare feet. As you know, I like to do the grounding, just to have the feet, the body in contact with the earth. I'm going to do a video on that soon. But also, just getting your feet out of the shoes and onto the ground without anything in between is so good for your feet. There's 26 bones, 33 joints, and 19 muscles in your feet alone. And when we jam them into a shoe, and most shoes go to some sort of a point where they just crunch your toes a little bit. It can put your gait off. It can sort of mess with your feet, which messes with your knees, which messes with your hips, which messes with your shoulder, and then you might get some tension in your neck, which gives you a headache. So everything's connected, obviously. So getting your feet, just away from the shoes and on the ground and walking, exercising those 19 muscles is really great. Anyway, let's finish this off. So there's another category called realist. Optimist, pessimist, realist. And there's probably a bunch of people watching this right now that consider themselves realists. I'm going to say realist is another way for pessimist. That, you know, again, we know there's crappy things happening, and it's your belief in the future that makes you an optimist or a pessimist. Hey guys, I gotta wrap the video up from in my basement. Somehow I lost the last part of that sequence. And anyway, here we are. Let's finish it off. So my point was that the realists, you can almost confuse them with the pessimists. Not quite, but they are giving energy to these things. They see the negative, the bad things in life and say, well, I can't ignore it. It's right there. And holy crap, that's not very good. Now, as an optimist, or from my point of view, I see those negative things and I say, oof, I don't want to give that any attention at all. I don't want to bring my mind to it at all. I know it's there, but I'm ignoring it as best I can, with the belief that the pendulum of whatever that bad thing is going to swing back to the good thing. So I know it's there, but I give it no energy. I think the realist looks at it and says, oh, it's there and I can't ignore it because it's right in my face. So they get a little bit of negative energy from it. And what we want to do is stay on the positive to bring the good vibes to our society, not the bad vibes. We need to fill the world up with good vibrations, as the Beach Boys said. Anyway, that's all I've got. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching this rather disjointed video. But always be an optimist. Look on the bright side of life, and the universe will smile on you. Take care, guys. See you in the next one.